Hey folks, it's Jason. I'm back again, and this time with a lead guitar exercise. Now I say exercise, and I'll explain that more after we actually go through the exercise. I'll explain why I call it an exercise. But this is going to be a two-part series, and this series is called Finger Dexterity Exercise, and it's catered to, obviously, lead guitar playing, or in our case, metal lead guitar. So let's get to part one. Okay, that wraps it up for part one of what we're calling finger dexterity exercise. And this is to enhance your lead guitar abilities. So now I want to talk briefly about why I'm calling this an exercise rather than just a normal lesson or whatever. And I'm going to use a weight training analogy. As some of you know, I've been very passionate my entire life about weight training. Some of you guys know me as the owner of themuscleprogram.com. I started weight training at an early age. I got picked on throughout my childhood, so one day I woke up and decided to attempt to do something about it. So anyway, I'm going to use a weight training analogy, and then I'll tie it back into how it relates to this exercise. So let me tell you something that you can't do. Well, you can do it, but if you do this, don't expect results. You can't just walk into the gym, and let's say you go lay down on the bench press, you throw a little bit of weight on, then you pump out one, maybe 2 reps, and you rack it, and you're like, okay, I'm done for the day. And then you go home and you're like, maybe I'll skip tomorrow. I just don't have the energy. Better yet, maybe I'll just take the whole week off. You can't do that and expect results. So how do you get results? I know this is all obvious stuff. But how do you get results? So I'm going to give you 2 key points, and then I'm going to show you how these key points tie back to the guitar exercise. One is repetitions. Okay? Now, how do repetitions work? How does that help? How does that build muscle? Well, repetitions will pump the muscle full of blood. It will engorge the muscle with blood, giving you that pump. And that will allow you to tear down the muscle, to break down the muscle so that you can go rebuild it. You can go, assuming you're getting the proper nutrition, and we won't get into all that, giving the muscle what it needs to recover and regrow new muscle tissue, in essence making it bigger, and that can make you stronger. So repetitions, that's key. So what is the second pointer? That one is consistency. So let's say you go in there, you do like 5 exercises for chest, you do 3 to 4 sets of each exercise, 8 to 12 reps, whatever. You get a great workout. You feel good. You walk out of the gym, you go eat, recover, whatever. But then you're like, I don't know if I want to go back. I think I'll take, 2 weeks off or whatever. So without that consistency, you just really negated the impact you could have had of that workout. So repetitions and consistency. That over a period of time will give you that cumulative effect. And you will see results. You'll force your body to grow. You'll force your body to get stronger. So now let's tie that back to this guitar exercise. If you'll notice, the exercise is actually repetitive in nature. Those notes you're hitting over and over again. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now there's 3 different phases, and I kind of did that to break up the monotony, and it also use different fingers, mix that up a bit, and use the different parts of the fretboard. Slightly, they're kind of together, but you get the picture. So it's repetitive in nature. So you do that exercise, let's say for 30 seconds, or maybe build up to a minute. You're doing a lot of reps. So in essence, that's building dexterity in your hand and your fingers. And that's strengthening your fingers. So those repetitions are helping you. Now let's talk about the second point that we talked about in weight training. You can get a great workout, but that one workout's not going to do very much for you if you're not consistent. So how do we combat that in today's busy world? Like everything, it seems like we're so fast paced nowadays. I've actually tried to slow down, lately and just kind of relax more. But one of the things I do to stay consistent is, let me pick this up here. I started, and actually just started recently. I started creating a schedule for myself. I started writing stuff down on a notepad. You can use an iPhone or iPad or whatever. That's fine. I am very technology driven, and I'm very much an advocate of using technology. But for this specific task or this specific instance, I prefer in the morning just to write down. I just take a notepad and I just write down some key things that I want to accomplish that day. I give myself a little task list. I'll even make it for my day job sometimes, but especially, some of I run themuscleprogram.com and an affiliate marketing business. So I got to make a schedule for myself, what tasks do I want to accomplish? And the same for music. So you make a schedule for yourself, so tonight at 7 p.m., I want to practice this exercise that we did. I'm going to spend just 5 minutes practice. I'm going to go over this. I'll do it for 30 seconds or a minute each time, and I'll say do 5 sets of that. And then I might spend the next 10 minutes just strumming chords or whatever. Then tomorrow you might say, you know what, I may spend 30 minutes from 8 to 8:30, songwriting. I want to come up with some new riffs, so let me focus on that. Then you might take a night off, and you might come back the night after that or day after that, whatever. But my point is, write this stuff down. Give yourself, make yourself accountable. Practice is imperative. We live in we live in a society that we want things right now automatic. We're entitled. But the bottom line, to be great at something, you have to spend time. And you don't even have to spend a ton of time. That's the trick. You just have to be consistent. You have to do the reps. You do have to put in the time. But make yourself a schedule. Give yourself those allotted time frames to practice your instrument, whether it's writing, going through skills, going through exercises, whatever the case may be. So, enough of this serious talk. You're probably wondering right now, what beer is Jason drinking today? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to share with you. First, let's break out my extremely cool, I love showing this thing off, my skull. My bottle opener here. And this isn't really a review because I think I've already included this beer. Why am I having such a hard time with this? Okay, so today I am drinking a beer called Chong. Again, I think I've shared this already with you guys. This is a Thai beer. And Chong, you see the elephants on there. Chong actually means elephant in Thai. So I already know how this tastes, but I'm going to taste it anyway. Now, Chong, just kind of a slight overview here. Chong is it's a beer that's sort of on the lighter side. I don't want to say, it's hard to compare. It's nothing like Heineken or anything like that. So it's nothing like any of the American light beers. I'm a beer snob. Most of us we're music snobs. I'm also a beer snob. I only drink the good stuff. So it's hard to compare it to anything though. And all Asian beers that I've tried, it's very hard to compare them. So and this is one of my go-tos. It's kind of hard to find. You have to go to either Asian cuisine or an Asian market, and even then it is kind of hard to find. So if you find Chong, definitely buy it by the case if you can, and then maybe ship some of that to moi. I'm just kidding. We actually have places here in Tampa, or in the Tampa, Brandon area where I live, that I can pick this up. But anyway, that's the beer. And I apologize. I'm so sucky at describing how these beers taste, which that kind of leaves a little mystery. So you want to try it yourself. And as I've said in one of my past videos, if I could give you a virtual taste, nom, nom, nom. If that were possible, I would certainly share. but I can't do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Part 2 will be coming up in several days. So until then, cheers.